Joining us right now, the governor of Texas, Governor Greg Abbott. Mr. Governor, great to have you back on the program.
Hey, great to be back. How you guys doing? You guys ready for college football season?
We are, sir. We are. And we are ready also for a big Republican win in this election, God willing. Let's dive into this. The border is one of the biggest vulnerabilities that the Harris-Walz ticket has. One thing that we haven't heard a lot about is what's going on at the border now. The way Democrats try to speak about it, they act like, well, it's been largely secured or partially secured. What's the status of the border as we go into this election season?
Sure, I'll give you the status, but you first need to know the timeline. Remember that Harris and Biden refused to take any action whatsoever other than to allow people in illegally until June, as in 2 months ago, when Biden took this action that he said fix the border problem. So remember that June timetable. Then remember this, and that is if you look at when the decline actually began of people crossing the border illegally, it happened late last year. So what caused it to begin to go down? What caused it was the action that Texas had taken. When you add it all up together, Texas has built mile after mile after mile of the same border wall that President Trump built. We've added those big orange buoys that stop people from crossing that are placed in the Rio Grande River. We have thousands of National Guard members who have built hundreds of miles of razor wire border barrier that deny illegal entry. Here's the point. If you look at that park in Eagle Pass, Texas, that's 50 acres in size that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris had used to process up to 5,000 illegal immigrants a day, I ordered the National Guard to wire that shut. And since that time, we've had an average now of less than one person crossing that area a day, as opposed to 5,000. Then on top of that, if you look at the overall decline in what Texas has been able to achieve over the past year of illegal crossings on the border, in Texas, it has gone down 87%. And because Texas represents two-thirds of the entire border, because of what Texas has been able to achieve, that means that overall illegal immigration across the entire border has gone down. It's been Texas, our efforts to put up resistance, to do the things that the federal government is supposed to do, which is to deny illegal entry. That's what has actually led to the massive decline in illegal border crossings.
Governor Abbott with us right now. Governor, I think this is really important for what you do. If Donald Trump is elected in about 75 days and takes office in January, versus if Kamala Harris is elected and takes office in January, what will it mean for the Texas border? And as a corollary to that, or in addition to that, what will it mean to so many other communities? Because people don't stop in Texas, all of them. They filter in everywhere. How much different is your job in Texas as right there on the front line of the border with Kamala in office versus Trump in office?
Night and day difference. When Trump does get elected, and one reason he will get elected is because of the disaster and the danger and the death caused by the Harris and Biden border policy. You know, think of all the people whose names you could rattle off right now who have been murdered by illegal immigrants who have been allowed in by Kamala Harris as the border czar. So, for one, the death and mayhem that we've seen over the past year will be eliminated. But more than that, President Trump will do two large primary things. One is reinstitute what led to the lowest illegal border crossings in 45 years, and that is to reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy, some version of the Title 42 policy, end catch and release that was put into place by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and to continue to build the border wall. Those strategies will dramatically reduce not only illegal immigration, but also the murders committed by these dangerous criminals that are coming across the border. It will reduce the chances of terrorism by actually apprehending these people and either sending them back across the border or putting them in jail. So my job as governor of Texas, what Texas as a state is having to invest will decrease dramatically. So Texans are coming out of pocket about $10 billion out of our budget to fund our own border security. And that's money that we will be able to put right back into the pockets of our fellow Texans. So, importantly, to expand that to other states. Every state is now a border state. They're dealing not just with fentanyl, they're dealing with criminals, they're dealing with an overload of illegal immigrants in their own communities that they simply cannot afford to deal with. This is going to be better for people in Georgia, better for people in Pennsylvania, better for people in Michigan and Wisconsin, and definitely better for people in Arizona and Nevada. It's going to be so helpful to leaders and communities and residents in all of these states, and that's why I think Trump is definitely going to win, because of the massive differential between what Trump will do in securing the border and what Kamala Harris has done in her open border policies that have crushed the United States of America.
We're speaking to Governor Abbott of Texas. Governor, I totally agree with you on both the stark difference in approach to the border from Trump and what the Harris administration would do. Also, I agree with you, Trump's going to win, but of course we have to focus and stay on the case here. I am wondering if you could just give us some sense, because I think the more that this can be made real to people, especially anybody who's a swing voter, the likelier it is to have an impact on Election Day. You know, New York City has, I think, spent $6 billion on illegals this year and is looking like it will spend between $10 and $15 billion over a 3-year period of the Biden administration. What is the cost, I mean, to the degree that you can gauge it for us, the cost of illegals as Texas has to bear that burden as a state?
So it's massive, just as Texas alone, whether it be because of the strategies that we have invested in to deny illegal entry that we have to continue to invest in. As an example, Texas built our own military base that will house up to 2,000 National Guard soldiers right there on the border outside of Eagle Pass. That costs a lot of money to continue to maintain. But then you look at other costs. You look at the health care costs. And by the way, I issued an executive order last week requiring all hospitals in the state of Texas to disclose exactly how much cost they're incurring to treat illegal immigrants. And we're going to be looking at the same thing with regard to our schools and other services, but it would probably, when you count schools, we're talking billions of dollars. But here's the important thing for your listeners. What I'm talking about as far as costs are concerned, you residents of other states, your states are facing the same out-of-pocket expenses. This is money. Understand this. I cannot make a more important point. Because of Kamala Harris's policies, you as a taxpayer of your state are going to have to come out of pocket to pay for services in your state for illegal immigrants. Money that you should not be taxed for, money that should be going into your pockets, money that should be used to reduce what you pay at the price of the pump and at the grocery store. But all those costs are going up because your state is going to have to spend more money dealing with the devastating consequences of Kamala Harris allowing more illegal immigrants into our country.
All right. You mentioned college football is back. Let's finish off with some positive news here, because I agree with Buck. Trump's going to win. You guys are going to deliver Texas. Ted Cruz is going to win down there as well. I saw you last week, your lovely wife as well. We had a good time visiting. I appreciate the fact that you're the most successful Vanderbilt Law School grad, even if they probably don't want you back on campus either. But you have got an incredible season coming up. Texas is now in the SEC. I told you I'm coming down for that Georgia-Texas game. How much fun is Austin going to be now that the University of Texas is back in the SEC? And if you're an Aggie, that the Longhorns and the Aggies are going to be playing every Thanksgiving week all over again, too. For people who don't realize how much fun that's going to be and what a big deal it is, not to mention Oklahoma, who I know is a big rival, what's Austin going to feel like?
I'll tell you, but let me real quick tell you that when I had the chance to visit with you and meet your wife, I now know where you came out with the name for your show of Outkick. Because
he's waiting. Hey, you did well for yourself too, Governor, but we both have outkicked our coverage for sure.
But listen, it's going to be an extraordinarily exciting year for the University of Texas. Obviously, they played great last year, went to the Final Four playoff game. But what a lot of people don't know is that either they have everybody back, or even though they had 3 wide receivers that were drafted by the pros, The wide receiver team is going to be better this year. The quarterback is going to be better, one more year experience. We have one of the best offensive lines in the country. They're going to be a pinball machine when they run up scores across the nation. And we have an exciting game against Michigan, the second game of the year. Then we got the gauntlet of playing OU at the Red River rivalry game in Dallas, and then hosting Georgia. It finished off with the reuniting of the Texas A&M football game. That game alone, I mean, tickets are going for astronomical prices, so people can see it in person, and that's going to be something that a lot of eyeballs are going to be watching. I think it's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. It's going to be a lot of fun. Football is alive and well in the great state of Texas.
Governor Abbott of Texas,
Awesome.
Great to talk to you, sir. We'll see you soon.
You guys take care.